So from coaching leaders to writing books and also speaking at global platforms, my journey has always been driven by this desire to help the individuals. That moment really changed for me, and that was my realization that I can definitely work with people. This purple book, it was more focused on an individual of how they can grow in their journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, the podcast where we uncover the journeys of extraordinary individuals who are reshaping industries and inspiring the next generation. Our guest today is a global leader whose influence knows no boundaries. She's a coach who has empowered over 50,000 lives, an author whose insights have sparked a transformation, and a visionary whose work bridges innovation and human connection. But that's just scratching the surface. From pioneering breakthroughs in technology to helping leaders unlock their full potential, she has a remarkable ability to turn challenges into opportunities and ideas into impact. What fuels her passion for change? How does she merge science with personal growth to create a lasting success? And what lessons can we all learn from her incredible journey? Join us as we delve into the story of Miss Poonam Jain, a leader whose expertise and unique perspective will leave you inspired and wanting more. This is a conversation you simply cannot miss. We welcome you on the show, ma'am.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Tane, for this warm welcome.
Ma'am, every great journey begins with a spark, something that ignites a passion and sets the course for everything that follows. And for someone like you who has worn so many hats, IT, technology, coach, leader, author, and global speaker, I'm just curious. If you were to rewind the clock and relive that moment when it all began, what would you say was the defining spark or inspiration that led you down this extraordinary path? And how has that spark evolved into the remarkable journey we see today?
Yeah. So that's a very interesting question, Tane, because for me, this spark came during my early days in my career when I just started off into IT. It was around the 2000 part. But then I vividly remember while I was working on my project, that has been like, obviously, I was working with the US customers, and the time difference, the time zone differences that were being there, like working from India and coordinating with the teams out in the US, there was definitely times when there was a high pressure within the project. And I remember there was one such project which we had a very kind of strict timelines and deadlines because it was related to certain things associated with the compliance part, which had to be delivered to our customers, because if you don't meet the timelines, obviously there would be repercussions in terms of not meeting the compliance. So working under that high pressure project, it was not just about the technical challenges that I had to work with my team and along with me and the our coordinators and our client. Of course, the challenges were immense, but what stood out to me during that part was the personal growth of my team members, because it was a mix of team where we had certain junior members who had just joined in the project, and then there were senior members who were working, and there were certain who were in the midst of their career. But then there was this one particular team member that I remember very distinctly, because she just joined in the team, and seeing this so much of a pressure in the project, she was like having so much of doubts about her ability. She was like, will I really be able to do this? Will I really be able to deliver like just what the other team members are doing? And that's where my journey began, because it was not just technical guidance to her, but I also had to motivate her for her personal and the professional growth, making her understand that whatever knowledge, whatever information she brings in is definitely going to help the organization, is definitely going to help the project. So that a little guidance and encouragement for her definitely sparked the confidence within her. And then, of course, she delivered the project really well, and she's doing really very, very, very nice today and at a very good position. So that was a sparking moment, that transformation, that I got a realization that it's not just about the technical, but also I have to work with my team for their personal and the professional growth. And that's where my true calling came into, where I need to really empower people and look at their innate inner strength, which can help them to not just solve technical problems, but also work collaboratively within the team. So with that as my theme of identifying and working with the strengths of the individuals or of the corporate organizations. Over the years, that spark has definitely evolved into a mission for me. So, from coaching leaders to writing books and also speaking at global platforms, my journey has always been driven by this desire to help the individuals, also the organizations, to primarily unlock their full potential, to understand what is their innate strength and how they can utilize that strength to grow in their journey, not only personally, professionally, but also help the organization and the community to grow. So it's been a journey of growth fueled by this belief that with the right mindset, with the right energies, with the right strength that you focus on, you can really achieve your goals and dreams, and everything is possible.
Lovely, ma'am. I think if I may say, you've spoken like a true leader, ma'am, that what you get out of people you work with is what's most important, right?
That's true. That's true.
Transforming over 50,000 lives globally is nothing short of extraordinary. Like, it speaks volumes about your impact and dedication. But
Yeah.
every great journey has a defining moment that shifts everything into focus. Could you
That's
share a pivotal moment in your life or career that solidified your path as an alchemist coach, where you realized this was your true calling? Like, we'd love to hear what that moment meant to you and how it shaped the incredible work you do today.
Yeah. So when I talk about this pivotal moment, that has been one of the leaders that I was coaching because, of course, I started off my journey as a fresher, as a junior, and then evolved. And then there was a time where I was working on the technical aspects and also trying to work on grooming myself and working towards a personal growth. And that's where my journey for the Alchemist Coach began. But there was this one profound leader that I really kind of remember because when I was talking to this leader, she had come, we were meeting over a cup of tea, and she was being introduced to me by one of my friends. She was like, okay, come on, meet this person XYZ. And I was like, okay, fantastic. So when I saw her for the first moment, it felt like everything's so good. She's such a known personality in the work that she's doing. I was like, really kind of, it really inspired me. But when my conversation started with her, what I realized that she was having her own inner struggles that she was going through. A lot of things that she had to balance at home, at work, and also a lot of disturbances which were going on within her personal and the professional life. What I also gathered was that while she was under that stress, while she was under that, she was also going like few of her initial stages of depression, which was also like battling towards her suicidal tendencies. And that kind of gave me, like, I would say, I was taken aback, like somebody whom I can see from an external perspective, so strong, so powerful. But when you talk more deeper, you start understanding that there is really a lot of story behind that person, what they're showing us or what they are standing in front of us. That overwhelmed, that she was definitely having a lot of self-doubt and a stress despite of being at that high ranking position. She was, of course, undergoing some medical treatment to make sure that she is being taken care of physically as well as mentally and psychologically. But she sought a coaching session with me. We both discussed and we had a conversation where the idea was to regain her self confidence back because that was something which she was lacking. And of course, through our sessions, we worked towards realigning her purpose and also helping her understand her strength because she always felt that she's lacking something. She's not able to balance so many multiple roles at home and at office. When we worked together, I helped her understand that her what was her innate strength, what was that she can build as her confidence. And after a couple of sessions, that's where she said that, you know what, Poonam, when I spoke to you and when we had our sessions, I really felt that ray of hope again. And that moment changed me deeply because where a person was into depression and going through struggles, stress, and also having some suicidal tendencies, getting out of that completely. And now she's heading one of the departments. She's perfectly fine. Of course, stress is there, but she's able to manage that things very well. That moment really changed for me. And that was my realization that I can definitely work with people to get their strength and help them change, not just professionally, but also as a at a deep human level. And that is where that reaffirmed my calling to help individuals and organizations to just see beyond their struggles. And that experience became my cornerstone, pivotal moment to reaffirm that, yes, Poonam, you are on the right track, you're on the right path while you're doing your technical things, working on transforming humans and touching the human lives is the most important part. And that's where that moment of moving, and I would say that's the moment of my journey for Alchemist Coach started off.
Lovely, ma'am. I think it's so nice to hear that when one realizes that work is beyond work and more about people and how they grow. That's also a very big part of work that one does, right?
That's true.
Your advocacy for DEI and POSH reflects a deep commitment to creating inclusive and equitable spaces, a mission that resonates with so many of us. Ma'am, I'm curious what first inspired you to take up this cause so passionately, and as someone who has championed these values, how have they influenced the workplace culture you've been a part of, and what impact have you witnessed on the people around you?
Okay. So, uh, I mean, if I tell frankly, when I started off my career, this DEI, which is like diversity, inclusion, and the posh things were something very totally alien to me. I had never thought of like, okay, there is something which is not, because when you have been growing in the city and you have been working and been part of the colleges and things, I never had thought of that DEI and posh as such an important topic in an organization. My passion for the diversity in the posh stemmed up from a personal experience, because while I was again into one of my coaching sessions and in my earlier careers, one of my clients came in, and then she of course told me that there has been a lot of things that she's going through within her work environment. And that was something which brought to my mind that obviously this person has been sidelined because of her background. And I went into deep dive and figure out what does an organization talk about in these cases, and that's where I got into this concept of DI, and of course the posh thing also came into a picture. But then standing up for that individual to go back and tell that, okay, irrespective of whatever your background is, irrespective of whatever gender you are, irrespective of wherever you come from, if you are able to bring that value, if you're able to contribute to the organization, I think the organizations have to really kind of value that. And getting that shift within her and within the team was definitely incredibly rewarding for me, because something which I thought was not possible, I was like, for me, does that really need to be there? Do you really need to have the diversity? Do you really need to that? But when I stood up for this candidate, and when I spoke about it, it gave me that incredible experience that it opened up my eyes that when people are facing challenges, it may not just be challenges related to their own thing, but it is also related to the environment that they're working in. And can that environment be made as a safe, inclusive environment for everyone to work, not just a specific gender, but for all the genders, whether it's male, female, other genders, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the place that you come in. If we can create and foster that trust, enhance that creativity, and build that strong teams, give that confidence to people that this is a safe, secure place where you can voice and be heard. I think that's something which really kind of got me into taking things more after the incident which I said. And since then I have been participating into the DNI and the posh activities and events within the organizations and also external events. The objective is clear: to build a foundation where the working places are safe and secure and everybody feels inclusive while they're thriving in the organization. So that's kind of the part of my DNA Posh and why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah, lovely, ma'am. And I think inclusivity gains you more than just a person. It gains you a lot of perspectives in work, which ultimately makes an organization grow, right? Different
That's
people, different
absolutely right.
backgrounds coming together.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Ma'am, your books, Corporate Chemistry and Purple, have resonated deeply with readers, offering powerful tips for transformation and growth. Ma'am, writing such impactful works often comes from a blend of personal insights and professional experiences. Could you take us behind the scenes and share what moments or challenges in life planted the seeds for these books?
Mm. Let me start with Purple. Of course, before Purple and Corporate, I had co-authored one of the books with my mentor, which spoke about my journey in terms of how I got into as a coach, as a part of the Coach Wisdom. But my independent book, Purple, was a book which I wrote, and it was from a deep personal experience that I wanted to share with people because it reflected my journey of how a timid person I was, how a person I was, and how through this whole resilience and reinvention and going through a lot of those challenging times in my career, how those things have been transitioned and transformed. So that's where, like in Purple, I talk about the whole personal transformation, how I have gone through and what has helped me would definitely help a lot of more people. And that's an easier way. Like for me, writing books was an easier way to reach to more and more people because maybe I may not be present everywhere, but my books can definitely reach out there. And from a corporate chemistry perspective, so when I started with this Purple book, it was more focused on an individual of how they can grow in their journey, how they can evolve in their journey. But I've been working in a corporate environment. What I also started realizing that in a corporate environment, there are certain challenges which are very recurring. When people feel disconnected, when people don't feel a part of the organization, when there is no coherence, when they're working with there is at times a lot of miscommunication happening, mistrust happening, and within the employees, the wavelengths, the vibrations don't match. And that not only impacts the individual, but also it impacts the organization, the corporate, because then they are not able to grow the way they should be, because they need to keep struggling a lot at these granular levels. And that's where the corporate chemistry thought came into that. Okay, I need to write down and talk about my work, my experience of how it is so important for every member in the organization to align their thoughts, to align their energies, not just with the individuals, but also with the bigger goal that the organization is having, so that it can create a more cohesive environment. It can create a trustworthy environment. It can be an environment where people feel a part of the journey rather than being excluded. And that's where in the corporate chemistry, I talk about a lot of practical tools which can help organizations and individuals to tap into their power of their mind, the energies, the system that they are into, so that they can flourish, thrive for their growth, for their profits. So it's not just about the results that I felt. I felt it's about building an environment which flourishes, which gives that safety net for creativity to flourish, for collaboration to be there, to be the way you are, so that the positivity can flow naturally. So that's where from Purple to corporate chemistry is where my whole journey brought in, with the belief that when you're aligned with a purpose, you can definitely create sustainable results.
Lovely, ma'am. I think it's truly inspiring to see that a leader like you is so impactfully thinking about the larger picture and the bigger purpose, which one realizes with time, right? That it's always about that and not about just small growth, small purposes, and things like that. As long as you can affect lives.
Yeah.
Ma'am, your journey so far has been nothing short of remarkable, and I've just kept saying that, right? I mean, spanning coaching, leadership, and global advocacy. I'm looking ahead. What future aspirations do you hold, both personally and professionally? And when it comes to boardroom leadership, what goals or visions do you have for contributing to decision making at the highest level?
Okay, so about my future aspirations, both on personal and professional. So when I look ahead, my aspiration is to amplify my impact on a global scale. Because right now, yes, it's been there globally, but in bits and pieces. So I want to kind of take it much more bigger, amplify it. And personally, I want to definitely continue evolving, because the more you learn, the more you talk, the more you connect, the more you are able to help and empower others. It's more about empowering individuals to grow, to reach to where they would want to achieve their dreams and goals. So, professionally, I see myself contributing to the things that you mentioned about the boardroom leadership. So, the way I look at that is that I would be kind of contributing more in a strategic leader, where I can bring my fresh perspective, where I can combine my experience of these last 23 plus years in IT, coaching, and connecting with different people. So, combining that to bring in innovation, inclusivity, and also very important thing, which is really needed in today's world is about the emotional intelligence. So bringing this combination of innovation, inclusivity, and emotional intelligence is my goal to help the organization thrive at a holistic perspective, not just on one, but you work on a holistic picture where obviously growth and every organization thinks about profit because that's
Yeah.
where they are for, right? So then going with that profitability and your purpose definitely has to go hand in hand. And the purpose is a bigger purpose for the individuals, for the organizations, and for the society. So I want to help shape policies and cultures that prioritize people, promote innovation, and also ensure a sustainable growth. So leadership for me is about leaving a legacy. It's about creating an environment where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. So that's how I see my future, my way ahead, and how I can contribute to the boardroom leadership.
That's a lot to do with also giving back to the society, which is lovely to hear.
That's true.
Ma'am, in your experience, why do you
Mhm.
believe corporate governance is so essential for fostering trust and accountability within organizations?
See, corporate governance, in my perspective, is a backbone for an organization. It helps build the trust. It helps build the accountability. So when you're running such a big corporate, having that governance to build the trust, to build the accountability is a very key thing. And this also kind of ensures, in my experience, decisions. And it's not just decision, but it has to be transparent communication. It has to be fair. It has to be aligned with the overall mission and vision of the organization. So transparency plays a very important role, being fair and working in a aligned way with the overall mission. I think corporate governance definitely helps in all of these things. So in my experience, you know what, I have seen organizations where they have a strong governance practice. It creates a sense of security and trust, not just among the team members and the employees, but also the clients that you're serving and the stakeholders, your shareholders, because transparency, the fairness is something which everybody resonates with. So, for example, what I've seen in my journey is that when there is a clear governance framework, it'll enable better decision making. It'll also kind of reduce a lot of conflicts because you are going by the systems, you're going by the processes, and it'll also kind of foster a culture of responsibility. So for me, when we talk about the corporate governance, it's not just about creating a system where people and organization just thrive, but it is also achieving the goals with integrity and purpose. And as I'm saying again and again, but it's not just about the individuals, but it is also, in this case, working for your stakeholders, working for your clients who trust you, who believe you. So I think the corporate governance definitely helps a lot in these aspects.
True, ma'am. Ma'am, as someone who has recently joined Directors Institute, we would love to know how has your experience been so far? Like what aspects of the institute's approach or community have stood out to you, and how do you see it contributing to your journey ahead?
Okay, so let me be frank. Means I have almost, it took me 6 months to decide to get into Directors Institute. Okay. Because when I first saw the Directors Institute message pop up on the screen, obviously through the one of these researches that searches that I was doing, I was like, is this the institute that I have to go, or do I have to kind of evaluate a few more? And of course, I spent good amount of time evaluating Directors Institute and also going through a few of the other institutes to figure out where do I really have to start my journey. What I really loved about the Directors Institute is their connectivity, their contact, their support, because any moment you just message or talk or mail, you have people really around you, surrounding you, who are ready to answer your questions. They're not in a hurry. Like, come on, just join us, join us, join us. No, they are there to help you understand the whole process. They are there to help you understand what is this all about. They're there to answer all your questions with patience. And I would say, and that's the thing which I really loved about it. And when I went through their whole curriculum, I found that the depth of knowledge that they have defined in their curriculum is really very interesting. And it's not just kind of limited to one part, but going beyond, working on the ESG, working on the international level, working on the national levels was something which really kind of fascinated me. And that's where then I was like, okay, now I drill down, and this is where I go with Directors Institute. So it's not something that, even though I was not their member yet, the experience before that I have got was so fascinating, so nice. I felt a very warm welcome. And that's where when I decided, and since the time I've joined, it's been a constant connect. The kind of material that they've provided, the kind of value that they're giving. So it's more like a value-driven leadership, which can help the organizations be in a successful path. So the resources, the discussions that have I have been part of so far have given me a different perspective on how the whole journey of a director is going to be like, as an independent at a national, at an international level. So I'm kind of really excited about all of these insights, the pre-experience, the journey of the experience. And I'm pretty sure that by the time I complete, and the post-experiences are also definitely going to be very exciting, very meaningful, with the Directors Institute contributing at the boardroom level as well. So definitely this experience has kind of strengthened my vision of going on this path of the path that I've chosen of the Directors Institute. And I'm very clear that with the help of this organization, I would be able to create a lot of impact at the highest level of leadership, not just locally, but also globally.
Lovely, ma'am. Thank you for those kind words, ma'am. And it's been an absolute privilege having you with us today. Your journey, insights, passion for transformation have truly captivated us and offered so much value to the audience. I mean, from breaking barriers in leadership to championing inclusivity and well being, your story just reminds us, like I said a number of times, of purpose driven work and looking at bigger pictures in the society. So, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, wisdom, and aspirations with us. It's clear that your impact will continue to inspire many. So, thank you so much once again, ma'am, for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Tanay and Directors Institute, for hosting me today. I'm pretty sure with the help of this organization, I'll be able to create a global impact too.
We wish so too, ma'am. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning into FaceTime with Leaders today. Remember, every leader has a story, and every story has the power to transform. So, until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and join us next time for another deep dive into the minds of incredible change makers like Miss Jen. Until then, take care, keep striving for greatness, and have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.